Hello, Roomies. I
Hello.
I am Lindsay. That is Maria, and our special guest LeeLee. And we are Roomies Review the Movies. We are two old college roommates. I have a degree in film, and Maria has been doing reviews on movies for the past 20 years.
For a long time.
And today we are reviewing 2022's Biosphere, courtesy of LeeLee. So yes,
Why did you recommend this movie, LeeLee?
yes.
Um, I've recommended this movie for one is because it's actually a real dope ass movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the budget, and the concept and the idea of it, real dope ass movie. Um, so that's one reason why I did recommend this movie. The second reason why I recommended this movie is because Lord Jesus, it has so many flaws. It has so many flaws, and the diaphragm of what this movie is.
The diaphragm?
Yeah, I'm gonna say diaphragm
Okay.
just because of what happens in this movie.
Yes. This movie is pretty freaking unique. I
Yes.
will say that. We have Mark Duplass in the movie, who also is one of the co-writers of the movie, along with Sterling K. Brown, who pretty much, is the best thing to the industry in a long freaking time.
Yeah.
In my Snoop Dogg words, this nigga just can't miss.
He really can't. I don't think he's done anything that he hasn't um exceeded in,
Yeah.
whether
Even
he's like the lead or supporting.
yeah, even when he's in a movie I don't particularly care for, his performance is always still top notch.
Hmm. Yeah.
I've been a Sterling fan ever since Supernatural.
My first time seeing
That's how long I'm gonna tell you. I've been a fan of this man.
That's a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah, see, I didn't watch that. My first time seeing him was The People versus OJ, because he played
Mm-hmm.
the number one hated black person in the world. um, what's his name? Christopher
Chris.
Darden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first time seeing him, and he like outshined in that performance. So,
I remember seeing him in This Is Us. So
hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That season, or no, those seasons, excuse me. That dude's phenomenal. He made everybody around him better in that TV show.
It really should have been him and Beth. Honestly,
Yeah,
they were the best.
like
Yeah.
I'm talking about his standout monologues
Oh, he can
was
monologue.
really
Woo.
the dopest.
And see, I heard about how good he was on that show, but then I also heard that that show makes you cry every episode. So
Oh
I
yeah,
never
the
watched
show
it.
is emotionally devastating. I didn't cry every
Yeah.
episode.
I was about to
Okay.
Uh,
say, no, you don't cry every
yeah.
episode. Hey, some episodes did hit me, like especially after the death of my daughter. Watching it again, it was like
Mm.
certain shit. Yeah, it does hit home.
Hmm.
But for the majority of part, they humanized a series.
Mm. Gotcha.
He was the lead forefront in humanizing this series for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think they really knew it was going to play out that way until they saw people's response to like him and Beth and like their whole storyline. But they immediately started giving them more to do, which was great.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's phenomenal. He play and his character on the show is really great. You get so much insight into the person he is, the kind of father he is, why he's that way. It's great. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um.
And to do that on top of being how can I word this without being disrespectful? Um, a quote unquote unwanted coon. He didn't want her to become a coon. He just grew up in a white household.
Mm,
So he was
yeah.
He grew up in an all white household.
him, but he was labeled something else. So he always had to let shit be straight of who he was as a man. That goes boundaries of what we see in real life shit. Like I really did like how he humanized that.
Mm,
And I can actually see like some parallels between his relationship with his foster brother Kevin, and then like the relationship these two have in this movie as well.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, I like how you did that.
Yeah. Brought it right on back, right?
Segue.
Right. So yeah, so Biosphere. So this movie is it looks like it was an independent film as well. But it did go to the box office. I haven't seen what the budget was, but it did not it didn't even make $100,000.
Yeah, I think it was an extremely limited release, and they really just relied mostly on streaming for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it came out July 7th, and I had never heard about it before.
Right, right. I never heard about it either.
I haven't seen anybody talking about it. I went on to YouTube, of course, to like see some reactions or reviews, like or something like that. Very, very few. Very
Yeah.
few.
Yeah. It's one of those hidden gems.
Yeah, I happened to be just up one night with my son, and I'm flipping through shit on Hulu, and I was like, Sterling, what?
Press
All
play.
right, let me press play.
Right. Yeah, because I mean that's what you have to do when you see Sterling. So yeah, so this movie it looks like it takes place post apocalypse. It's in a biosphere. Sterling's character is some type of scientist, and he has made this biosphere at the request of Mark Duplass's character. Let me get their names.
Yeah, that's Billy.
Yeah, Billy and Ray. Billy Ray. Funny. But yeah, Mark Duplass is Billy and Sterling K. Brown is Ray. So Ray built this biosphere at the request of Billy. And Billy is the president.
Or
He
was.
or was the president, right?
Was the president?
And so apparently he knew that something was going to occur with the world, and his best friend since they were little uh is this scientist, and he requested for him to make this biosphere, which he did. And so we are picking up after they have been in this biosphere for a long time. It seems like it's been a couple years at this point. And so the biosphere is pretty much self-sufficient, and pretty much thought of everything. As far as protein, they have fish, and the fish procreate. And so then they have food, like canned foods and stuff like that. And they have a little garden, so they get their greens
Little
from that.
vegetable garden.
Yes. And then they have, they never playing Super Mario Brothers.
They're
So
playing
they
some
have,
game.
yeah, there's playing
Yeah,
video
they're playing
games.
games.
And then they have a bunch of books as well. So they have their living quarters, their sleeping quarters. I mean, it's pretty much a self-sufficient biosphere that they're living in. And while they're living in this and whatnot, things start to change for them. One of the things is that they start seeing this green light, which
Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna stop
Mhm.
you right there.
Okay.
As a person that I've watched this movie a couple of times, so I have to intervene. So in this movie, again, they have been sustaining themselves with this their very own ecosystem. What ended up happening is with the fish they were having, they couldn't tell which ones were which because all of them were black. What ended up happening is they end up eating the last female. And so when they found out that was the last female, they start panicking and trying to figure out how are they going to sustain themselves with protein because the last female has just been eaten, and the water filtration system is built off of not only it being a male and female in these fish, but it's also hydrating their vegetables. So when they realized it was two male fish in the pool and no female fish, they tried to figure out what was going on, and then they went into doom. And then one of the male fish they start thinking was being sick because it starts shedding.
I knew immediately what was happening.
I did too. I did too. I knew exactly what was
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
They didn't know, which was like
Yeah.
wild to me. But yeah, but
As a
biospheres
scientist,
are supposed to like recreate the Earth, right? And there's this place called Biosphere 2 that exists where they literally built like this multi thousands of square foot place to be a biosphere because Biosphere 1 is Earth, right? So like you can like go and tour it and all this stuff. And I remember when I was a kid, there was the movie that came out, Biodome, right? Similar kind
Mhm.
of concept. Absolutely hated that movie. Even as a kid, I did not find it entertaining.
Yeah. It was a little cheesy.
You know, and I'm a child. Like this should be
Right.
easy.
Mhm.
it was a stupid movie.
Right.
It was bad. Not even good bad.
Right. But yeah.
But he knew which fish it was.
Yeah,
Um,
Sterling knew
Yeah.
what
mhm,
fish it was from the jump. He just was trying to hide that from
Yeah.
Billy,
mhm.
because he knew Billy would panic. So,
And I was like, why you let him eat it then?
well, I mean, what else you gonna do? It's dead.
I
Yeah,
guess. Because if you do
Yeah.
anything else,
So
he's gonna wonder why you're doing it.
right.
that was my whole thing. And watching it a couple of times, I was like, Ray really understood what it was to be in an ecosystem and knew that natural change was going to happen.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and that's explained later in the movie that he does keep things away from Billy.
Yeah, he manages his
Yeah,
emotional stability, basically.
right, and it seems like he's been doing it all their lives as well.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
so so yeah, and then also we got the green light that they are kind of like worried about and whatnot, and so basically, the water or the fish starts to change, and he starts, researching and whatnot on this change, and come to find out that the change is that one of the fishes is turning into a female,
Hmm.
and once that is discovered, then they're like, okay, we should be good now because they're going to procreate. Well, with that being said, again, they're in this biosphere for a couple years, and they started adapting as well. Meaning, Billy went to the bathroom and found out that he no longer has a penis.
Hmm.
He has a vagina.
Yeah, after Billy eats the fish, he's like sick all the time. He's
Yeah.
got a fever. He's got cramps. Like he doesn't know what's happening.
Right.
You
His
think maybe it's food poisoning.
literal dick was retracted.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if your body goes through a change like that, I would think you
You're
would
gonna feel it.
feel. Yeah, I would think so. So, yeah. Um, so that was a whole experience with him finding out that he no longer has a penis. So,
His penis is transitioning into a vagina.
yeah.
I
So,
mean,
Because most babies, if not all babies, I'm not sure, start out as female. At least that's what I've heard, and then you develop
I,
further on.
I'm not gonna fault you on that. I'm not gonna say female or male, but every baby is born with the same type of situation, and what ends up is balls drop or balls don't.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
And the balls that don't drop become instead of sperm, they become eggs.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that works.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in a total layman's term, that is
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
So yeah. Oh right. Well, his balls dropped for X amount of years and then they retracted.
Then they
They
retract.
were picked back up.
Yeah, they were. Yep. So, he's going through the change and
The change.
change. So yeah, not only is he going through the change below the waist, he is going through the change above the waist as well. So he is developing breasts.
Mm-hmm.
So with him developing breasts, mm, yeah,
You have this extreme isolation. You
yes,
have basically what's trauma bonding because they
yeah,
have nowhere to go and nobody else to talk to. That
yeah,
I mean, that alone is going to create some strange situation interactions because you're just trying not to lose your mind.
right, right,
And now you have this whole situation where he's getting these secondary female sex characteristics. You know, and they neither one of them has been around anybody else they wanted to sleep with for who knows how long.
right, and,
Yeah.
yeah,
See, the thing about that is with Ray is I just feel like they needed to expand on that character more, because I can honestly say if my man was growing titties and losing his dick, I'm still not finding a way to be attracted to that.
Okay. But I
um,
think the idea is, how do you talk about sex and gender when the rest of the world is literally gone?
yeah,
And
It, I mean, I
no
give it
one, no one is
100%.
around to see you. No one is around to judge you. These things
all
start
that,
happening, and how do you respond?
Yeah,
Not that you don't get
it's a
that. I just
moral
think that's
compass
like
at that
some
point.
of the themes the movie is trying to do. Like, because like I honestly have no idea how I would react in such a situation because there's so many variables.
yeah, 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 and that's the
Yeah,
reason why
I
it seems
don't
like
get.
it.
I'm like, case in point. I'll put you two in there, Lindsay and Maria. Like, say if y'all stuck in this biosphere, and all of a sudden, Maria, you start growing a dick. All of a sudden, Lindsay is like, "Yeah, let's make the baby," and you gonna be cool with that?
I didn't say you'd be cool with that, but I would say in a situation where literally the rest of the world is gone, nobody's there. What is your duty to the human species? Like,
Nothing, nothing. You are not
not
Adam
only,
and Eve. Like, no.
but as far as they know, they might be right. It's like the
Yeah, we
story of
don't
Sodom
know.
and Gomorrah with the daughters and her and their father. Ooh, anyway, they got him super drunk because they literally thought they were the last people alive, so that they could have children.
Yeah, fuck all that though.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not saying this is some easy choice. And they'd be like,
The world is just
oh, you know what?
over.
That's a, ooh, I don't, yeah, even all of
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, the
Like,
world's just over.
but I can see people making choices that otherwise they would never make.
yeah,
Yeah, the world finds a way, but it ain't gonna find a way with me.
Life finds a way.
yeah.
Life finds
But
a way.
Yeah.
Life ain't
but
gonna
my
find a way with
question
me.
would be my question would be like, how long did it take after he went through the change? Like
We
was
have
it
no idea what time is in this movie.
right, right.
No,
We just know it's
Tom has
6
no.
a.m. and 6 p.m. That's it. You know.
And then the
But that's
thing
what
is, he never changed facially.
No, he
no.
didn't.
The
I'ma
best
still
he
look at you
did,
like you my dude,
right. The best he did was shave his beard. Um,
and that ain't gonna change shit.
yeah. I mean, I I just really need to know the time frame after he
I'm
went through
just
the
curious
plan.
about the time frame. Yeah.
Right, right.
How
Because
long did it take for him, like getting out that zoom in lens from him having a period? Like, what was that?
yeah, yeah, and like after he was like, "Hey, we can procreate," you know,
And see, there's
that's
literally no reason why they can't do this, like with a turkey baster or a syringe or something. There's absolutely no reason,
It's
except
no
yeah.
for
reason. Like,
except for like drama in the movie. That's it.
Right, right. And that's what I was
yeah,
thinking too. I was just like, there, you can get that shit on Amazon and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
mean, they
So,
can't, but like you, I
well,
know
yeah, right.
there's a syringe around there somewhere,
There
right?
has to be, right?
this
Right.
is what
But
I'm
I'm just
saying is,
saying, like,
I'm
it
sorry
can't.
to cut you off, Lindsay, but this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, we really need to divulge into who who Ray really was, because it's like, is you that dude that's been gay, but because of how you raised, you were homophobic?
Well, he said, yeah, he said he was raised homophobic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm saying, like, Ray, was you really attracted to your best friend? Because that nigga don't look like a bitch. I don't give a fuck if he got titties and a pussy. He don't look like a bitch.
No, he don't.
So is
That's
this
why I
something
want
that you
another
always
time
was
frame.
into?
That's why I want another time frame. Like, how long did it take for him to come to this conclusion? Like, all right, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he ponder on it? Was it just overnight? Like,
Yeah, it definitely wasn't overnight because he moved his bed out the room and made his own space and all this stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
because he was
Trying
fighting
to.
feelings.
he was
I
fighting his
don't.
feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was fighting a lot of feelings and also trying to think about the way he was raised and how he feels about what's happening and da da da. Which I like that they went through because it's like, and also for Billy as well, like having your physical body change without your consent, basically, and having that gender dysphoria is super real. Like,
Mhm.
I felt so badly for him. Like, I've
Yeah.
never had like gender dysphoria on that level before, but
Hmm.
like there was a point like where I just absolutely felt like I looked like a little boy, and it was, I hated it.
Yeah.
But
No, I
I
get.
can
I had more respect for Billy going through that change than I did for Ray being just G for the shit. Like, he was having like I have this contingency plan of if this happens. Like, you already knew at the end of the day you was gonna fuck this dude.
I don't think so.
I don't think he knew.
No.
Yeah. I don't think.
See, y'all say this, but I'm only gonna say as a man, and I know this is a movie, but as a man, I'm saying if my man is going through the change, I'm still not finding him attractive. Even when he like, we can procreate the world and start over, I'm gonna be like, nigga, are you serious? Like,
As
do
serious as
you
you can
know me
be.
and you have lived together as man? So I don't see nothing else past that. Like, I get you going through whatever. I hope somebody else is alive that can agree with this shit. But it's the buck stops here. And I'm not homophobic. I ain't gay. I ain't none of that shit. I just understand as me as a man, I wouldn't go through it. That's why I'm saying
So you wouldn't
it
do
should
it.
have
You
been a
wouldn't do a
deep
turkey
dive in,
baster. You wouldn't
not
do a
even a deep
syringe.
dive, but at least a
Yeah.
little 15-minute uh uh situation where we understood who Ray was as an individual,
So
where
would you do
from
a turkey?
childhood to up, so we would have understood why he would agree to this shit. Because
But
even being a
I think
scientist,
it's
you're
pretty
not
clear
agreeing.
why he would agree to it. I think this being a scientist is part of it.
yeah.
Even
I
though
don't
his
think so.
science is not completely correct in the movie, and they're doing that for the movie to have like this stuff happen.
Right. Right.
But I think that is definitely part of it.
So
Yeah.
so yeah. So Maria brought up a great question. Would you do the turkey baster?
I would rather do the turkey baster than actually fuck my dude.
Okay. So
Sorry.
the turkey baster is on the table. Actual intercourse is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
Like,
Yeah.
nah. Because I know. from news headlines and CNN and all that shit works.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in real life, you can go on Amazon and get
Yeah.
that kit. You can really do that.
Yeah, they only really have sex because of the movie, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because when he was talking about, oh well, sperm doesn't live. I'm like, but you
Sperm
can.
doesn't live for very long. I was like, sperm lives for 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, I was just like you can do
That
this
was my whole thing. Like,
actually.
nigga, what the fuck are we talking about?
I was like, what kind of
Right?
scientist are you? So at that point, I'm like, I think he's just lying to
Yeah,
Billy. Because he's like, I don't even want to do the turkey baster thing. So I'm just going to tell him they die.
right.
Like, and then he like, I really want to fuck you though, but I'm gonna act like I don't, and I'm gonna have all these old weird ass feelings. Because as man, I know we do this. We do weird ass shit. I'm gonna move to the side. I'm gonna act like I don't give a fuck. But for real, I want to fuck, and I'm sorry, and I apologize.
Yeah, he's going through a lot of conflicting emotions.
Yeah.
He's probably never ever felt this way. He's never ever been in this situation or known anyone who has. So,
Right.
Well, I
And it's a
mean,
very
at this
unique
point, you have to
situation.
think about it. Nobody has been through this situation.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very
Nobody's
unique.
best friend turned into a bitch all of a sudden
Yeah.
and was
There's
like,
no
you know, we can have a baby.
there's no guidance on this kind of thing. Like,
No. No. And then my other question is, did they continue to have sex?
we don't know.
You know?
That's again another
They
thing with
never
the
said
whole
that, but you know they
timeline.
did. You know
I
they
would
did.
think they
They
would,
got way too
But
comfortable at the end.
especially with them cuddling and everything. I would think
yeah.
they would,
Yeah,
but we don't show it. We don't see it. So whatever.
Right. Right.
yeah.
Because
They
I'm
was.
also
I
like,
mean,
you can get pregnant the first time you have unprotected sex.
You can.
It just doesn't always happen. So I'm like,
And
did he
then
just
how
get
did you
pregnant
know
the
that
first time? Like,
how did you know
a
that he
month
was
went past
ovulating?
and nothing happened, and they was like, "Yeah, we probably gonna have to do this again." And then that doing it again end up becoming in my John Legend voice twice, 5 to 7 times. Like all of a sudden, we just fucking.
Yeah.
because they did talk about, oh, you remember our friends who were in couples and trying to have babies, and got to the point where it was just perfunctory, you know.
Yeah.
So, but we never really know the time. They certainly didn't have any pregnancy tests. Uh,
Right.
they must have had
Just
like the
couldn't
most
imagine hitting
amazing
my
supply of
password
toilet
from the
paper because
back.
I know they didn't have tampons or pads either.
Right. I was thinking that too. Like they're of course they don't have pads. Who has pads when it's two men, right?
It's
Right.
So
two
it's
men; they
like
don't need it.
right. So nobody was prepared for a menstrual cycle,
No.
you know? So that there's a lot of logic that you do have to set on the table and walk away from
Mhm.
for this movie to work. But
But I do agree with you, LeeLee. We needed more background.
yeah. And they tried to give us a little background as far as the hesitance is concerned in regards to why he's just absolutely like, no, I'm not gonna try this, but that was pretty much it. Like I wanted to know because they hinted at the fact that the world came to an end and pretty much the president knew it was going to happen. I want to know, how did the world come to an end? You know, like I want to know, what did he do?
See, that was one of my things that I didn't understand. I was more and more listening to what made him become the female, and like the more and more they were trying to explain, it was like
They
that's
can't.
what I didn't like. They
They
was
can't
making him
explain it.
just seem like the fuck up, the person that needed everybody to actually take care of him when he was making decisions.
And see,
Like,
this is where I say their relationship is similar to Kevin and Sterling's relationship in This Is Us, because Billy's out here president. He can't say words. His vocabulary is not as good as Ray's. He's not as smart as Ray. He's not as charming as Ray. Like none of those things. Ray is pretty much the wind beneath his wings. He's carrying him on his back to get him to all these places, but he doesn't get all this shine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't get to be president.
You know what he reminded me of? Billy reminded me of George W.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He definitely reminded me of that presidency. So that's what I chopped that up as.
See, I didn't even think of it like that. I thought of it more of he was, because if anybody can say anything about George W. the second, not the first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he relied on people for speeches.
Mm-hmm.
But he was really in the front line of a lot of shit. A lot of people don't even acknowledge him for that. Like, as far as speeches is concerned, yeah, he had 100 people doing 100 things for him. But when it come to actually making decisions, he was making decisions. This nigga don't make decisions.
Was he though?
Right. Like, I don't think.
Do you remember Dick
George
Cheney?
W. the second?
Dick Cheney?
Right. Dick Cheney was the
really
one that was running. Right. Dick Cheney was running the show for sure. George W. was the face.
Yeah.
Nah, you say that. Everybody says that, but I
with reason.
That's what it was.
George W. Bush was not smart. Period.
You ain't got to be smart to be president. We have seen
as we see
on multiple occasions. Yeah. So,
but one thing about George W. the second that I do like is when he actually had to say shit on his own or do things on his own. It was just on his own accord. Yeah, the shit was weird, but it was just him and his dumbass type of way of thinking.
Yeah.
And so I do respect it.
You respect his dumbass way of thinking?
I do respect this dumbass way of thinking.
Why?
I mean, if you look about the political podcast that we are seeing right now and the political forecast that is going to happen before us, the thing that you should understand is the ones that become president that are, I guess, wholesome. They're only wholesome because we somebody has told them to be.
Mm-hmm.
George W. the second was just unapologetically him, and he had other people to like try to wash up shit, but he was unapologetically him, and
that's true.
He was trying to make, for the most part, for me, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, for the most part, he was just trying to make this shit continue to run. He ain't doing the shit that we're seeing now where motherfuckers is looking for a collapse.
He helped put that into place. He helped that come into place. Especially with the fact that Dick Cheney was basically running the show.
Well, that's because he's a dumbass. Not saying that he was doing it on purpose.
But that's almost even worse.
These people are doing it on purpose. Like, I know what I'm saying. Again, I'm not like saying like this is the person you should follow. But he wasn't doing it on purpose. These people were literally doing it on purpose.
Yeah. That's still worse to me. Because at least with the people doing it on purpose, they know what they're doing. They're not just stumbling.
Point.
At the highest office in the land.
Yeah. Yeah,
he
but
it's shit about fuck.
He almost choked himself with a pretzel.
Jesus, Maria, let it go. No, I'm just...
I can't stand him. I hope he burns in hell.
God
damn. He can't make Reagan soon enough.
Man. But yeah. So
anyway, back to the movie.
right. So yeah, but that's where I immediately went to as far as Billy's character. You know, I was just like, this reminds me of George W. you know. So it's not far fetched that we would have a fuck up,
No.
you know, and it be at the president's hands. Because shit, we had fuck ups, not to this magnitude, but we had pretty bad fuck ups with George W. So, um, and for him to be kind of like, you know, it just seems like it was a lot of people that put him into place.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty realistic as well, you know, and having somebody be like pretty much the wind beneath his wings,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you know, the irony wasn't lost on me that it was a black man being the wind beneath his wings as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's that, you know. Um
I
which
picked up on that, especially when Billy started getting upset about the transformation, which I mean, I can totally understand that, but the way he was like projecting it on Ray,
he was like, why me?
why me? Why not you? Like what? It wasn't a choice, my guy. I don't.
It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice, but it was a fair question.
It's totally a fair question.
Yeah,
but the way he's coming at the way he's coming at Ray is kind of like.
I don't even think it was a fair question for me.
Huh?
I don't even think it was a fair question because it's like you asking, why me, not you? Like you are not the dominant party here.
I mean, it doesn't even matter. It wasn't a choice. It just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to know why me, not you. But it's not like I set you up. So,
right.
Yeah, I didn't set you up.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I didn't understand the question because I'm just like, why would it not be you?
I mean, I totally understand the question just from like a curious standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it as well. Because I probably would have been asking the same question, like, damn, why not you? Why me?
Right. It's not like this is something that happens commonly or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, why him?
Right.
Especially I mean, on the logic term, it's just I would just look at it like again, the more dominant person.
That's not really how it works in nature, though.
Are you sure?
Yes. It typically comes down to need. Like when he was saying, like the fish, it comes down to need. So they'll transform when there's need. Because they need to propagate the
they'll transform when it's need. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna follow your lead on this one. So,
but they don't have gender roles in fish.
No, it's two male fish in here. So, which male fish is the most dominant one? The one that is, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Exuberates more maleness or more
what is maleness in
this fucking pool. It's like I don't know shit about nothing when it comes to scientific shit, but I can guarantee you that it's the dude that's actually being the dude that is going to stay the dude.
How can you guarantee that, LeeLee?
No one can, but it would make more sense.
Not really.
I honestly don't think that. Okay. I honestly don't think that one exuded more masculinity than the other when we started.
Because what we're talking about now is the difference between sex and gender and what that means.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is a masculine fish?
As we see, the masculine fish was the one that stayed masculine.
Do we know that? Why is it not more powerful to be able to switch in between?
What?
You can only be male. I mean, no, I'm saying it's more. It'd be more powerful to be able to be male or female instead of having to stick with one.
So the need for it. I'm not a scientist, but I'm saying the need for it would happen if it was more female chromosomes coming from you than me.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to label me as, I'm going to take.
I'm not labeling you. I'm not labeling you. I'm just saying the science. That's not how that works.
But we don't know how that science works.
Well, I'm talking about chromosomes. You don't have more male or female chromosomes.
It's still for the same matter of with the whole thing with the frogs. If they have more female estrogen and all that, they transfer to males. I mean females, excuse me.
Okay. Like, wait a minute.
It's like, so we have to look at it like again, I'm not a scientist, but I look at what is biologically there.
Mhm.
So this guy had more female chromosomes than Ray did.
So, no. That's just not how chromosomes work. Now, you might say something like you were saying estrogen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
again, I'm not a scientist, so I'm gonna say some fucked up shit that
No,
don't make
that's all right. We
But
are
you know what I'm
participating
saying.
on a totally fake situation that's happening in some place that we will never be. So that's totally all right.
I mean, we're trying to pick up that logic that we
You're
put
trying
on.
to carry it through, but it's hard
Yeah.
without real science. I'm not a scientist
It's-
either. I have an interest in science. I watch a lot of National Geographic, all that kind of stuff, but I am not a scientist.
I just feel like because that was the thing that bothered me about the movie.
Mhm.
When I talked to Lindsay about the movie, I was like, I want y'all to watch it because it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, one of those things where this guy ain't really the guy pushing the bells and whistles. So, and I almost is on some trans shit. So I want y'all to watch this shit.
Mhm.
Because I didn't want no one. When I told Lindsay about it, I was like, I don't want to base my shit on just me.
Mhm.
I want to see y'all opinion about it.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. But I mean, some of this stuff for the movie to work, you do have to put that logic.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. And I feel
Yeah, I
I
was
feel
just like,
this,
let me not do that. I said, man, let me watch it, especially fucking with Lindsay. I want a female perspective about shit because I don't want to be the dude that is always on dude shit. I really want to have a mental capacity to take everything in
I
to
like
understand it.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
All right, LeeLee.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like
But
me and
it's
my own dude thoughts, motherfuckers would be like, nigga, no, that's not real life.
could you imagine talking about this Saturday night, drinking with your friends, talking about
No.
this movie?
They gonna be like, and not being disrespectful to anybody, they gonna be like, ain't nobody dealing with that gay ass shit. That's some gay shit.
Oh yeah.
But there's vagina. Is it gay?
It's
Yeah.
gay.
You know,
That
here's
nigga-
the thing. I was
nigga's-
thinking it.
that
Yeah.
again, like I said,
there's only one penis.
my mind went on some trans shit.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it is trans.
Yeah.
In a way, it is trans. But yeah.
Yeah. It's not a 1-to-1, but yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, on a trans level, does it make sense? Because if a trans person was able to have ovaries and do this, would we have this conversation, or would it be totally normal?
Well, I mean, trans men get pregnant.
Trans men get pregnant because they're originally women.
Because they have ovaries and eggs.
Because they're originally women.
So we're talking again the difference between sex and gender. Women is gender. Gender is performance. It's all an act.
Is it all an act?
It's all an act. Now,
But
whether certain
can't
parts
make
of that act align with you and make you feel more yourself, that's totally separate, right? Like you have girls who dress femininely, you have girls who don't, but they would still call themselves girls.
Those same girls are they have the same DNA to produce.
Not always.
If you put sperm there.
Not always.
Not all men make babies. Some of them
Exactly.
can't make babies, but
Yeah.
some of them are still labeled as males because of what they can do. You saying performance, I'm still gonna say it's still DNA. It's still what their DNA wasn't able for them to do. They just happen to have a malfunction that doesn't have it happen.
No, I'm gonna say different, especially when it comes to gender. When I'm talking about gender as performance, I mean like the way you act, the way you look, the way you sound. That's what I'm talking about. And all of those things can be changed at any time to be other
Okay.
things.
Okay. I give you that.
Now, when we talk about sex, we're talking about we're talking about your chromosomes. We're talking about what kind of functions that you have or you could possibly have. That's different.
Okay. I'm not. Again, I'm just one of them people that want to be open and I want to have an understanding about certain things.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
We all should be that.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
So
it's a much richer world that way.
yeah, agreed. Agreed. But a lot of people are not open minded. Like you
Absolutely.
said, yeah, like you said, if you were to have this conversation about this movie, not even real life, just this movie,
Hmm.
like there would be a bunch of closed minded people in
Hmm.
the conversation. So
Hmm.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
yeah, they
They
wouldn't
wouldn't be
want
able
to
to have a
understand what's
conversation.
going on.
Yeah.
Right, right. So um yeah. So what do y'all think about the whole scene of them procreating?
I knew it was gonna be a hole in the sheet.
Did
I knew,
you?
yeah, absolutely. I was like, because that's the only way they're going to be able to, like, if they're going to do it this way, that's going to be the only way. These ways, like, you can't see anything.
Yeah,
So I was like, it's going to have to be a hole in the sheet.
yeah.
For me, I'm just totally perplexed on it because yeah, it started from a hole in the sheet because Billy was trying to, I guess, sugarcoat Ray um to really being like, nigga, you wanted to fuck me a long time ago, but we're gonna do this. But at the same time, Ray the one that took the blanket or the sheet off of this nigga face and kissed him.
Hmm.
This nigga wanted to do it.
Yeah, at that point, he definitely did.
Mhm.
Ain't no that point. As
I
soon
know. I think
as
it was definitely that point because he had to spend some time. Again, we don't know how long that time was,
Mhm.
where he simply isolated himself
Yeah,
to work through his emotions. We still don't know how long that was, right?
yeah.
It looks like
Then
it was
he
at
had to
least.
get
you
he
feel
had
for
to
that,
get started by himself.
you would have kept that sheet on top of that nigga's face if you were just gonna fuck a pussy.
But he had to get started by himself too.
Right.
You know, I think it may have been that he was in the moment. That was the
Nah,
moment.
fuck off. Being in the moment for scientific. If it was all scientific, he would just went in there
No,
and
it
bust a nut
wasn't. It
and been
wasn't all
on
It
about his
wasn't.
scientific.
business.
No, it wasn't all
No, no,
scientific.
no.
I
It
mean, by the
wasn't.
time they got to that scene, he had definitely already made up his mind. Even
Yeah.
before they're talking about like how this is going to be done, the fact you're talking about it, you've already decided what you're going to do,
Hmm.
right? So, but it took him some time. Of course, we don't know how long. I don't know why to get to that he would be okay with that. That's going to be the decision that he's going to make because he
Hmm.
was not okay with that previously.
Yeah. And he had to come to terms with himself, which he probably did while he was spending
I,
time by himself.
I will agree with you, Lindsay. He had to go to terms with himself. I will not agree to he wasn't down with it. He was down with it. He just was fighting himself about the whole thing.
Yeah, he might have
Because
been fighting himself about the whole thing because again, this is a situation nobody could possibly prepare for.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
again, because my mind is even if I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're not gonna do the baster or none of that shit. I still only need to be looking at pussy. I don't need to look at my man with facial stubble and kiss him in the mouth.
That's why I think he got into it in the moment.
Fuck again as a man. Fuck all that. I have fucked just to fuck. Like, nah. that shit
Yeah,
right there, he
but
been
again,
wanting to do it.
we have been in this dome for X amount of years. That means that he has had no contact or nothing, and now he's having intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, other things come along with intercourse that he may have missed.
And then
Yeah,
we also started
apparently,
the movie showing off that they are both sexually frustrated,
Yeah.
again,
which is a
apparently,
part of it. But I mean, also like, I don't know how many people have ever thought, if my best friend suddenly switched anatomy and we were the last two people on Earth. I've never had this thought experiment. Like,
No,
so I can
it
only
never
imagine
came
like
across my mind.
being confronted with the idea and being confronted with the possibility, and then having to work through how you lived your life up until now, how you were raised, before you're like, you know what, this, maybe I could do this. Like, I don't I don't think it was something like completely latent in the back of his mind, because again, his best friend never had a vagina before. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, I still wouldn't want to kiss a man's stubble.
that's why he shaved, so he wouldn't have to.
No, it's the stubble still there.
His shave was not that good. I do agree. Like, he could have gotten it.
Stubble
I was
still.
like, this shave was not close.
Nigga,
It
this
wasn't.
nigga got shaved with a 2 at best.
Yeah. It wasn't the best shave,
Mm-mm.
but nonetheless, it was the thought that counts, I guess.
Because he started cleaning himself up more. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got a
Right.
haircut.
He started looking like
Feet
a
wasn't
nice
dirty.
looking man.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
so
But
it
he
was like a
started
man who takes a
catering
bath.
to him,
Mhm.
like he was getting him his coffee in the morning and
Oh yeah,
making
he was doing more shit than real life women do for men today.
okay.
Not my experience, but all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, that's what he was doing.
not okay.
It's men nowadays that can't get a hello from their woman in the morning before they go to work. This nigga was getting coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong.
You're right. All relationships are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't. I can honestly say I know people that's never been privy to a good morning and been in relationships for 9+ years.
Yeah, I don't know those people.
And I be telling them
Sometimes
niggas they
mornings
need to
aren't
leave
good.
all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes mornings are not good.
Hey, might not be a morning person.
I know I'm not.
I don't give a fuck. You supposed to do that shit for your dude. I ain't saying you gotta be hunky dory, but a good morning or how you doing, or I'm gonna be vulgar when I say this. A little tug before that nigga go to work. Make that nigga want to get up in the morning and know he taking care of you.
Make me want to get up anyway. I'm just messing with you.
I was about to say, if this
I'm
nigga
just
is
messing with
doing
you.
it, you're supposed to do that for him, and then he reciprocates. But you have to show him first, because he's the one making sure that you do the things that you do.
But I feel like as far as the movie is concerned, Billy was used to everybody doing stuff for him,
especially being president.
Right?
Yeah, like a bitch.
Yeah. So now he's changing. With him, he's changing.
I said it, Maria.
So, but now he's changing. Like his internals are changing and his externals are changing.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's starting to become more nurturing.
Also, he really owes Ray, to be honest.
Yeah.
Billy, Billy has been carried on Ray's back for who knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
He owes.
Billy would have never became president.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for Ray.
Right.
He really kind of he owes something to Ray, to be honest with you.
So and he owes to suck Ray dick. That's what you're saying.
I was gonna go with coffee in the morning. It's gonna go with coffee in the morning.
You gonna start with coffee?
Let's start with coffee.
It's gonna end up with straight sucking dick.
We're just gonna go with some like tender loving care.
We're
community style.
We're gonna ease on that road. Just
Yeah.
we're gonna coast.
Because you know this shit
We're
happened.
gonna
They
go
don't say
straight
that in the
there.
movie, but you know that shit happened. Like he was saying that nigga was frustrated. He like slid his arm down his arm while he was sitting it on the rest, and like he just sit there. He ain't got to pull his hair back because he ain't got no hair. He just literally pulled his sweats down.
Yeah, you're imagining way more than I did.
Yeah, I go
You
there.
know, honestly, because I really was like, okay, how far are we gonna go with this sex? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it because I'm just like, I mean, who's there to judge you at this point?
No one.
You know? So like,
You would imagine
why
people
not?
would get up to all kinds of crazy things with
Yeah.
nobody to
Yeah.
judge them.
Hey
Yeah.
man, this
So
nigga's
I'm just like, why
Billy
not?
is experiencing things as a woman.
What I don't understand is why. Okay, so this was his first time having sex as a woman. So why didn't he?
Is it? I think Billy still refers to themselves as a man. He.
But okay, yeah, he may refer to himself as a man, but he has female parts.
Yes.
So this is the first time his female parts have had sex. So why didn't his female parts act like it was his first time?
I don't know if that's. What do you mean?
Like it wasn't no pain, it wasn't no hymen broke or anything like that.
Well, yeah, it's not always like that.
Not
Most of the time,
But-
those hymens are broken by the time they have sex.
yeah, like that's in real life, but we're
Yeah.
talking about a movie that we already had to put logic on the table.
Yeah.
You would have thought he would have at least been like, oh, hold on, that hurts something. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope it would. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I was interested in like kind of hearing his side of things, right? Okay, so you've had sex as a man, now you're having sex with a vagina. You had sex with a penis, now you're having sex with a vagina. How is that different? But the
Right.
movie is not about it. The movie is more about
like I'm sure
yeah,
I'm sure
'cause
he-
I
that
wanted
would've
to hear
been a
that.
straight mental fuck
yeah.
that you have been entering women for X amount of years. Now you're being entered.
Mhm.
That had to be a complete mental fuck, and nobody is exploring that.
Right. What was that like?
Right. Like
I-
I would have thought that he would have been in the bathroom for like 10 hours, just like what the hell.
Or even as the baby is growing, like what's that like?
Right.
That's not an
right, 'cause
experience
go
you ever
through your
thought you
life.
would have.
Exactly. You go through your whole life. We don't know how old they are, but I'm assuming they're in their late 40s, early 50s.
They're in their late 40s.
Yeah. So you go through your whole life knowing that you will never experience this, and look at you, you're experiencing, and you've never gone through any type of prenatal anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what's next, and it ain't like all them books. There's no books about procreation there because they didn't expect any of this. You know what I mean? So you don't know what the hell.
So this is my thing.
Okay.
When I was looking at that, and especially when Billy was like really pushing them having sex, he been pegged before. He know what it is to be penetrated.
Where did you get that?
Because of his reaction.
Because of it, yeah, because he was just so like, all right, we're gonna do it like this. This ain't his first rodeo.
I can see where you would get that from.
Yeah,
because
that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, it was too
Because
not
again,
my first
he's the
time.
president. On top of being the president, before that, he was just a popular person. And not to say this happens to all popular people or all celebrities, but they get to a point where they get so done with certain shit, they just move on past it. Like I just seen an interview with a basketball player, and he said like you after a while, if you famous, you fuck so much pussy, you stop wanting to fuck pussy, you look for something different.
I get what you're
I
saying.
think
Maybe
that's
you
probably
need to
the
look
same
for a
thing
new
happened to him,
hobby.
and he was the
Dang.
fucking leader of the free world.
Yeah.
But also, he clearly been thinking about it a lot. So
He had been thinking about it.
that was right after that whole thing where Ray was isolating himself. So Billy had nothing to do but think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had nothing to do but think about getting fucked because he was used to getting pegged.
Lord have mercy. I mean, we should
My
have.
opinion.
I feel like we should have spent more time with Billy exploring himself,
Mhm.
because who's to say, like, okay, they've already been, they've said it several times because they were sexually frustrated that they had been jacking off, and they needed to come up with a system on how they figure it out, right? Now that he has a vagina, even before he went on to say anything to Ray about procreation, you would have thought that he would have been spending some time with himself, exploring himself.
He was
You know what I
definitely
mean?
Well,
reading.
he did. We did see have that shot of him reading Our Bodies Ourselves, which I'm surprised they had.
Hmm. Yeah, but that was like 2 seconds of us
That was
seeing.
2 seconds. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right about that.
So, but I would have thought that he would have, because I mean, you have new instruments now. I would have wanted to know if he explored those instruments to see how they felt.
See how it works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole category of, when they ask women, like, if you woke up with a dick, what's the first thing you gonna do?
Yeah, but he really did. So
Right.
yeah, what is that?
Exactly.
What is that
So,
like? Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, all right, and you woke up with a vagina. Like, what
Yeah.
are you about to do? You definitely about to go DJ your shit, nigga. You on some DJ Khaled shit.
What was really funny to me though is when because they do like these jogs every day, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and so he's and Ray is not Ray, but Billy's growing breasts, so the running is painful.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at, like, I can relate.
Hmm.
I can
I
relate.
was like, they're not gonna like try and make a functioning sports bra thing for him or something, like a
Right.
wrap or something. Like
Right. I mean, like, what did they have that would do that?
I don't know. I was like, but they could do like make a wrap at least to like keep him in place if he wanted to run.
Mm. Yeah, I guess they could have, like, tied a bath towel. I don't know.
Some sheets or something.
Billy
Yeah.
is the president of the United States of America.
That no
Billy
longer
should have been
exists.
like pain. Excuse me. Uh, yeah. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. He should have just kept running.
No.
Mm. That's
No.
something
He
different,
used
though.
to be a man. Yeah, y'all doing this on a woman's standpoint.
No, no.
As a
We're doing
man,
this
I know
from a
my mama
girl
used to
to a
tell me.
woman's
My mama
standpoint.
used to tell me that pain is just weakness leaving the body. So I used to do shit on like fuck it, pain. All right, this and that just saying that it's
No.
about to go. It's
That's
weakness
not
leaving the
that's not
body.
at all that's not at all how that works. Not
No,
no.
not at
I'm so sorry.
all.
Not for this situation.
No, this is something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When a girl goes through the change.
The first change.
Right. Yeah. No, you're experiencing a whole different level, and you don't know how to react to certain things. Like, stuff that you thought that you could do, you can no longer do. And
You
you
running
feel
upstairs
some
one
type of way.
day just fine. You running upstairs and they say like, oh shit.
Right. Like, what the hell? Why does my
They get
chest
the fuck out. I'm just okay. I'm a dude, so I can't. I
I
can't
mean, have
relate.
you ever had boobs, LeeLee?
I've never had
I mean,
boobs.
some men do. It's a real
I've
thing.
been a
So,
bigger guy. Like I got all the way up to like 301 pounds,
mhm,
and then I worked my way back down to 250.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
I've never had a
but you
situation where
didn't
I
have
was like,
boobs.
I'm just gonna let this pain dictate how I feel.
I mean, it's not about. I mean, it's you just feel pain. So let me find a way where I can still live my life without it.
Yeah, or at least minimize it.
Right. So I can still keep up with my daily activity.
Hmm.
No, mine was just working out, so I didn't have titties no more.
Yeah, and some people do that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why, like, women bench press and
Hmm.
no longer have the boobs that they probably would have had they not done that.
Hmm.
That's why a lot of runners don't have big boobs. You know, so
I don't know
I
if you ever see some of these sports bras where they look locked and loaded, zipped up, like
mhm,
can't move.
yeah,
Yeah, because
right.
it's very painful.
Yeah. And then the bigger you get or whatever, you mess around and get yourself a black eye.
Back
You,
pain,
yeah, all that.
drooping shoulders.
The indents in your shoulders.
Oh my goodness.
I
Terrible.
come from a household of big breasted women. Every woman in my that I grew up with had a best breast reduction.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to be one of those people.
And you know, it's not even that easy to get them. Like, you got to prove you're in pain. Like,
Hmm.
who's
Yeah,
getting breast reductions for fun? Like,
yeah.
You know?
My
Yeah.
sister just went through that. They were trying to guarantee that they had a list of shit like they had to see if she had kids first, if she had to do this, and she was like, "Dude, I just need these shits gone."
hmm,
Yeah.
it's my body and I don't want to be in pain anymore.
Right.
What does having kids have to do with any of that?
Right.
Yeah, they were trying to make
Right. Like legit.
because they was one of the I don't know for everybody, but I know for when she was going through it, one of the speculations is, uh, have you had kids? If you had one kid or two kids, if you had two kids, then it would justify it. But then after that, it was like, did you breastfeed? No, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this?
Yeah.
Women's bodies aren't their own.
Basically. Basically. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
this white man saying, don't take the titties away.
Yeah. You know, when I bring that up to people, you know how many people like try to talk me out of it for their own selfish
For
reasons.
what? Right?
Yeah.
Well, if you would like them, here you go. Like,
If I could give them away,
if there
I
is a, go ahead.
I'm saying if I could give them away, I definitely would.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
was a boob transfer system.
Man,
Yeah, it's definitely women that would love y'all titties.
they can have them.
Hmm.
I tell people all the time they're more of a curse than a gift. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a woman
and
right now that's in her late 20s that got a chest like mine and was like, give me them titties.
yeah, I get that
Absolutely.
too.
Hmm. Women say that to other women.
All the time. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So, but yeah, but enough about my boobs.
I mean, we could go on.
We could, but you know, who wants
We're
to do
not
that?
talking about Lindsay's titties.
Right.
We're talking about titties.
So yeah, yeah. So I would have liked them to have explored that change more. Cause you know, we see things here and there, and then like, boom, we're straight at sex. Like, okay, like I get that's part of it, but you know, and then yeah, we don't really see, like, it's like they did it and then kind of went back to normal, but then like certain things changed. It was weird.
It was, yeah, that part I thought was a little strange because it was like
Yeah.
They moved
we
back in with
weren't
each other
right. They moved back in with each other,
because they was fucking constantly.
but we're not exploring like their new relationship at all.
No.
So
No.
it's like, so that was it, or are we on the regular? Like, what is happening? Yeah.
Right. So I feel like they kind of did us a disservice with that, which would have been it would have been very interesting to see,
Mhm.
because again, we've been in this biosphere for X amount of years, so we don't have the social construct that would forbid this type of relationship, you know. But that's still ingrained in you for X amount of years, so you would be fighting, you know. So I think that would have been very interesting to see.
Mhm.
But then that would have made the movie maybe too serious.
I think that was what they were trying to avoid. because
Yeah.
that was same conclusion I came to, and because I wanted those same things, and I think they were definitely trying to keep it lighter than that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
kind of does it a little bit of a disservice because the movie honestly feels too long.
Yeah.
Without things being in it, just feels a little too long. Had we had like those scenes like you were talking about, and it was still the same length, I think it would have felt better, fuller.
Yeah. It would have flowed better
The
because
same thing he was
I
talking about
did,
with the history and stuff.
right. Because
Yeah,
I
it'd have been a
did
more
kind of catch,
understanding of things.
yeah, I did kind of catch myself a couple of times looking at the time. So I do get what you were saying with as far as it feeling longer than what it was.
Mhm.
So
We also didn't talk about this green light that they see outside.
So
yeah. So
I'm
with the
glad you
green
said that.
light, yeah, with the green light, it got bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden, this big wind comes, breaks one of the glass windows, and they had to kill the plant. The well, it was killing the plants too, but kill the fish to get the material from the pine to cover the window
Mhm.
during this whole wind gust. But then after the wind gust, they started seeing like pretty much light at the end of the tunnel, metaphorically. But they
It looked
started
like
seeing,
what do you call it? The Arctic, no, Aurora Borealis. So like the lights in the sky that we had, like,
mhm,
what was it just a couple weeks ago with the solar flare thing and everything? What is
yeah,
it called? But yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know. Shoot, I know what you're talking about. That
Mhm.
northern
Northern
light.
Lights. There we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, it was that was interesting because it seemed like it was already trying to break through with that light, with that green light that they were seeing, and then all of a sudden with that wind, it kind of did break through.
Mm.
But what is it that broke through? You
Well,
know?
they were saying because he was it Billy who was like seeing this as a sign of possible life coming back to Earth because whatever he did destroyed the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he let off the notes. That's exactly. I mean, they were saying it without saying it.
Yeah,
Mm, gotcha.
He the
it
Because
one
that's
that
seems
what
let
like
I
off.
was
there was
wondering too.
He pushed the
oh
red button. Shit ended everything.
Mm. So my thing is, which is another unanswered question, is how did it end up being them two in this biosphere? Because
well,
they
Because
usually don't let the
Ray.
president but go anywhere by himself.
Well, the president made Ray make this biosphere. Like, so he was trying to figure out how to do something that was self-sustaining for a lot of people. So he had him make this,
I
and then
guess it's
he
like a
pushed the
model.
button way too early,
Oh,
and so they had to go. They had to go in there. So they're living in a prototype.
oh,
Okay.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like if you listen to their dialogue, it'll let you know, like, because they were back and forth arguing about that, about how things were created and why is this way and this way. He like, well, if you would have never did what you did, it would have been, I would have thought more shit through. I can
Mhm.
only think things through when you develop a proto fucking type.
Hmm. Okay.
So it was they were living in a prototype, which shout out to fucking Ray for being the fucking genius that he is because it was sustaining them. But it was
Mhm.
legit a prototype. Everybody around them were gone,
That makes sense.
dead. They
Yeah.
jumped into this prototype.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because that's where I'm like, because he's usually has Secret Service around him all the time. Like,
Right.
how did he end up there by
No,
himself?
that
You know,
nigga pushed the button too early,
Push the button from inside the biosphere, probably.
probably.
and
Yeah.
and it just caused destruction.
Mm.
Yeah. And I kept looking at, this green light throughout the movie and thinking about The Great Gatsby. Did y'all see that movie?
Mm.
Yeah,
And like, because in that movie they have this whole green light that's from like across the bay at Daisy's house that Gatsby's always looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I had no idea what this green light was supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I was like, so is it a reference to that or something?
I
Like,
was thinking that they was on some Truman Show shit.
that was my other thought. Was like, is it
Yeah.
like maybe a camera? But like,
Right.
you don't typically see a green light. But I was like,
Right.
what's happening? Are they like in a Truman Show situation where they're actually being filmed and he doesn't
Yeah.
know? But how would that even all happen?
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, y'all were
Especially
thinking
when
way
they
smarter
had
than me.
sex. Especially when they had sex and where they had sex, I was like, oh yeah, somebody watching.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, y'all was
Is that
thinking way
green light a
smarter than
light
me.
or is
I
that
was
an
thinking
eye?
more or less of that was the world imploding on itself slowly but surely. I'm like,
Well,
y'all
you
see
were
this
more on the
green dot?
track.
Eventually, this shit is gonna expand and just destroy everything. Like, 'cause I'm like, if eventually with stars, when they can't, they can't do anything and they're not shining anymore. Eventually, they just implode.
hmm
So I'm like, I'm just like, oh shit, the world is about to implode on these niggas.
Oh, Lord. No,
yeah.
I looked up like the green light in The Great Gatsby and like what it stands for because I couldn't remember.
hmm
But the interpretations were that it stands for love and the need to be together. It proved that he and Daisy existed in the same world and suggested the possibility that they might someday meet again. A suggestive metaphor for desire, love, and the inability to recapture the past. I was
mm
like, ooh, that one fits real nice.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But we find out it's the atmosphere returning. So
Yeah, I was about to say, if you see at the end, it was an atmosphere returning. They got to see further than they ever got to see because all that shit was just black.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, is it just black outside, or is it some kind of covering or whatever? But yeah, it's just black.
No, it's
Yeah.
just black. It was just
Right.
nothing. It was like they caused so much destruction that the sun couldn't get through.
Hmm.
hmm That's wild. That's wild.
I mean, the president pushing the button on the nuclear war, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Nuclear winter.
hmm Yeah. Yeah.
But
And it really makes you think like
yeah,
when that happens, are there others that like especially like those doomsday preppers and stuff, like will they have survived something like this as well?
doubtful.
I think that was more Billy's way of thinking. Like, if we survive, there has to be other people.
There has to be other rich, selfish assholes who have to
Exactly.
Right, right.
survive.
So, yeah, we have a lot going on and a lot of unanswered questions as
Yeah.
well.
I did also like because they have this whole story about because the only background we really have on them is like this whole story of
The magic
Ray's
trick.
birthday party, right? Where this
Mhm.
magician came through, drew a bowling ball, which is what he wanted for his birthday, and then he heard like the bowling ball like fall on the ground and it just appeared out of nowhere. And like that's kind of their story about hope and magic and things like that. And so at the end of the movie that comes back around. And I thought that was really nice.
I thought so too. I feel like that was pretty much the basis of why he became a scientist.
mm-hmm.
Because he just had to like he could not figure that out for shit, and he just had to figure it out, and that maybe was like something that he just really worked on all his life was trying to figure that magic trick out.
That's why I really liked the movie because it was him figuring it out, and then it was Billy being afraid of it. It was that was what got me. It was like Billy's afraid of change. Ray
And
is
the
not afraid of change. He just has to know what it is.
hmm
he wants to be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Change
Yeah,
is what gives him hope.
Yeah.
yeah. It was the whole that whole thing in a nutshell was Billy making a bad decision, starting change, and Billy shutting down because of that. And it was Ray pushing forward.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So we had character progression for both of these folks,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
is unusual in a two cast movie.
yeah.
Mhm.
And eventually you seen how it went total 180. You seen Billy being able to embrace change and Ray not ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy has
Yeah.
to remind him.
And he has to remind him about the magic trick that he was always afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah. All that. So it came to a nice ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that aspect about the movie really made it go full circle for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it started off as Billy not wanting to talk about it
Hmm.
to Billy expressing this is how we need to do to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just also really sweet because it's not something Billy from scene one would have done ever.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Right. 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 So that is Biosphere. So we have the rating system, and with our rating system, we have one movie reel trash AF, two it exists, three entertaining, four great, five a true classic. So Maria, what say you?
I'd probably give this like a 3.5.
3.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
LeeLee?
like
shit was trash. Nah, I'm just saying. I ain't gonna say that. No, I do think that this movie was very entertaining. So I have to give it a 3.
Okay.
and what about you, Lindsay?
I would say 3.5 as well.
Mhm.
Um,
Another matching score.
I know, right? But I feel the same way
They
with
should have got more in
the
depth.
whole full
If they
circle.
got more in
Yeah.
depth, I would have gave it a 3.5,
That's
maybe
definitely
a
what's
4.
holding back for me too. If we had a
Yeah.
little more in depth of not only what was going on, but also like who they were before
Yeah,
this, a
those
little bit
individuals.
more, right? And
Hmm.
Because
also
I do
how,
believe that the reason Ray was standoffish is because he was gay, but but his background had him hide it.
I don't think he was gay.
I do think he was.
I don't think
It's
so
because of
either.
the whole
No.
conversation that he had with Billy
I just think
about
he
that
just had
thing.
more plasticity and curiosity with his sexuality, because it's all on a spectrum. So I think he was just like realizing, oh, my spectrum is a little wider than I thought it actually was.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes you gay.
No, that's
No,
not what makes you gay.
Yeah, you see, people want to say other things, and I'm cool with y'all saying other things, but I grew up in a certain demographic, so I would say whenever you decide to go anywhere else, it's just gay, and just be cool with being gay.
but it's not just gay.
It's not.
But
And
that's just
It really is.
inaccurate.
he
It's
so
inaccurate.
had sex with a vagina. He's not gay. Now, if
Yeah,
he
you
had
have
sex before the change,
sex with a vagina from a transsexual male, it's still gay.
He's not even transsexual.
no.
Again, still
Transitional,
gay.
but not transsexual.
Yeah,
I,
he's not.
I,
He's not even really trans because it's not even like it was something where it needed to align with how he feels and sees about who he is. It was just a
we're gonna
biological thing that
forever
happened.
agree to disagree on this.
It's not like he had choices.
He
And
did
he
not.
didn't. He didn't. But he chose to
The only choice he
put
had.
a nut and the dude that he seen a dude for the majority of his life.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But he doesn't have dude parts anymore. So that's all that matters. At the end of the day.
It's like when Latoya, excuse me, Janet Jackson say, "Oh, so you the one doing the bending?" It's the same thing.
So not the same
No.
thing.
It is. It is.
No.
At all.
So,
Not in league.
y'all are gonna say that. I'm just gonna say on a logical term. For me, it's the same thing.
Oh, jeez. All right. So that is Biosphere.
I love y'all though. I
Right.
promise you, I love y'all. I don't have no problem with what nobody's doing. You just have to respect my opinion on what you're doing.
Well,
Just like
everybody
y'all
has
want
their
me
own
to respect
opinion.
your opinion on what y'all doing.
Yeah, everybody has
Still
an
gonna have
opinion.
my opinion. I'm gonna
Yeah.
respect your opinion, but I'm gonna still have mine.
Well, what I mean is like it's not even about an opinion necessarily. It's just that it's not just gay, right? There are other things that are not gay, but also not straight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as black and white as it was when we were coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wild gray area.
Yeah. It's a lot more.
I
Yeah.
don't
It's a
I
big
don't
gray
live in that
area.
gray area.
No.
Hmm?
No, you don't.
I definitely don't.
No, I can't agree with that. But
I
yeah.
don't have no problem
So
with it. Again, I don't have a
Yeah.
problem.
No,
That's
you
one of
don't.
those
You
things
don't.
where
You
I
don't
really
sound.
want
You
to
don't sound
emphasize that.
judgmental or anything.
Yeah,
no.
It's just that
I
there are
really
other
wish
things.
like the more and more education I get on things, the more and more I can have a opinion or an open-ended conversation about it.
Hmm.
I'll say that more than an opinion, an open-ended conversation.
Yeah.
Until I have that, I can only go with what I know.
No, I feel like you're open minded. You're just very frank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not downplaying nobody or
No.
saying
No.
I'm just saying, hey, for me, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. So yes, again, that's Biosphere. Maria, what are we doing next week?
Oh wow. I've been so
The
completely
gayest
blown.
movie we've seen.
We can go gayer.
We can definitely go
We can go
there.
gayer.
Maria,
We
hold
can.
on, time out. That that just sound like you was like, don't invite me to a good time.
No, that
Hold
sounds
my
like
beer, right?
hold my beer. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
We
it
can go
did. It
gayer.
did. It's like, nigga, wait, what? You think this the gayest?
It's not.
Come next week.
Right.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of gay movies.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with it though. I'm 100% open minded, and so I'm like, hey, listen, if you can get me to get to a level where I don't offend people, because I don't want to offend people, but I do have my opinion. But if I can get to my opinion without offending people, I'm totally with it.
Well, I mean, part of like learning and growing is offending people. If you don't look back on your past and feel ashamed about things you've done, you haven't grown.
That's a point.
Okay,
That's a point.
It's just when you
that's
know
a bar.
better,
I
are
like
you going
that.
to choose to do better?
Yeah. Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give me all that fuel. That's why I fuck with cuz be like, man, think about it.
Right. Like let's pump the brakes on this a little bit.
Oh,
Let's sit and think about this.
but yes, so we are going to do for the next time. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, LeeLee, either. We're going to do Dune from 1984.
Dune.
I've
What
seen
is
it.
that on?
That is on HBO Max.
Okay.
Or it's on it's on Netflix now too. Okay,
The 1984 what is on?
1984.
Gotcha.
Have you ever seen that movie, LeeLee?
I have seen Doom,
1984 version.
and I've never seen the remake.
Okay,
Mm.
the remake is good, but it's a little different in a way that I don't particularly. I was like, why did they do that? But I have to see the second one to really get a good picture.
Yeah, I seen the because that's with uh what Patrick Stewart, right?
Yes, Patrick Stewart is in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I've seen that. I've
Sting
seen
is in
that.
there.
Oh, I see Sting. Yeah.
Hmm
Okay.
Linda
Oh,
Hunt, who you've definitely seen before, if you watch any horror movies at least.
so is Zendaya in the new one?
Zendaya's in the new one. That's correct.
Yeah, I've never seen the new ones.
Mhm.
Only because I didn't like the original. I this wasn't my thing.
The original is an original, man.
Yeah, I didn't. I was more of a Trine fan.
Okay, yeah. No, I these movies, oh, especially the 1984 movie, is definitely made for somebody who read the book.
Okay.
I can
Mhm.
see that.
Because I only watched it last year, and my dad has read the books. Some of the book, there's like 20 something books, so he's read some of the books.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to help fill in some things that were happening. Because I
Okay.
was like, even though he had told me about a lot of Dune before, I was like, what? I don't. There was one part where I actually had to tell him to stop and like explain to me what was happening.
Right. Because I'm lost. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So there will be an after viewing playlist
Yes.
just to
I'm
help
sure
you
I'm gonna.
like, because I had to do it myself. I was like, what is happening? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure I would definitely need it.
Yeah.
All right. So Dune 1984's Dune is next time. So Maria, where can we find you?
You can find me online pretty much anywhere at Valor More Dollars. That's VALARMOR dollars. I'm also on a podcast with 5 other Black women talking geeky, nerdy, and pop culture entertainment stuff called Nerdgasm Noir. So you can come see me over there. And where can they find you, Lindsay?
I am everywhere at L_Ranelle. That's L_RANELLE. And also on the other podcast that I co-host with LeeLee, the Ish We Talk. And we talk about various hot topics. So LeeLee, where can we find you?
You can always find me on the Ish That We Talk. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Troy Hughes 82. And then you can find me on X with the same name, no gimmick, Troy Hughes 82. It's 82 bars that I think was this some of the most potent bars I ever gave somebody in 2007. But yeah, that's when you can catch me. Other than that, you can catch me on my OnlyFans, T Dirty, /69. No, I'm just playing. I don't have no Only.
But I really want to thank Lily for recommending this movie. I really enjoyed it, and I probably would not have seen it otherwise.
Yes. Thanks again for the recommendation. And thanks
I thought it
again
was
for
dope.
guesting. Yeah. For guest
Yeah, I thought it
for
was.
guest.
I thought it was something that y'all would actually like,
You're right.
especially for roomies with movies. I was like, this would be a dope movie for y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely appreciate the suggestion.
Hmm
Yeah, you
Right.
have to blame my son. My son wakes up at 2:30 every morning, and then I can't go back to sleep.
Not
And so what
2:30.
I end up doing is just going through shit until I find something, and then I watch a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is being sponsored by current Lee Hughes.
Right. Shout out to Current.
Shout out, Garrett.
So this was episode 56 of Roomies Review the Movies, and we will see you guys for episode 57. Bye.
Bye. See you next
Exactly.
time. We're going to Arrakis.